What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, I'd recommend that you hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications for daily uploads, and if you really want to help support the channel, asking that you would please smash the like button. Today we're going to really talk about something that I really haven't talked about publicly. I did mention in the last video when I took the kid to the fair this past weekend about being out of breath and stuff, and about why we canceled our April trip to San Antonio. About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I got diagnosed with post-COVID syndrome, and I figured I'd take a little bit to talk about what that is and how it really affects people. Back in January, I tested positive for COVID-19, January 29th. Obviously, I had to quarantine for up to 10 days from when the symptoms started. I was working a lot of overtime preparing for our vacation trip in June. So it's my understanding that overstressing my body had weakened my immune system, which made me more susceptible to catch the virus. So I caught the virus at work. Surprise, surprise. I think I ended up quarantining for like 12 days. And then after that, I went back to work. Everything was touch and go for a couple of days. The first couple of days back to work were pretty rough, not gonna lie. But after that, things seemed to be getting fairly back to normal. I started performing better at work, and my performance at work was starting to increase. I was still dealing with some of the shortness of breath and stuff during that time. I think I went back to work about a month and a half. And then one day, just out of the blue, I got hit like it's equivalent to about getting hit with a 18-wheeler. Because everything, it felt like I had taken a big step forward, getting back to normal, and then all of a sudden it felt like that I had taken like 20 steps backwards. It all started when I thought I had recontracted the virus by some point, because I started feeling exactly like I did when I had the virus. I started having body aches, chills, some fever here and there, shortness of breath, chest pain, tingleness, elevated blood pressure and heart rate anytime I got up and did anything. I had been to the emergency room and in and out of the hospital for the last 3 weeks because of chest pain and not really understanding if it's what it is. Post-COVID syndrome it's complicated, because on paper we would go in and get everything taken care of and there would be consistent pain. I would go days where I would feel fine, and then there would be other days where I was not fine. There'd be days that I felt like I could get up and take on the world and go on a trip and do this and do that, and then the day after would be like a total mess. I'll give an example. We took the kid to the fair on Sunday. Sunday I was feeling great. I wanted to do something with the kid because I haven't spent any time with him in a while, because I've been trying to, kind of get better. And so we took him to the fair to kind of get out with him and do something with him. And as soon as I got home from the fair, I was just so exhausted. We were only there for 2 hours, and we were just walking around and doing stuff and letting him ride rides and stuff like that. And then I got back to the house, and I think I fell asleep for like 14 hours. And then when I woke up Monday, it was a completely different ball game. I had I didn't want to get out of bed. I couldn't move. I didn't want to move. I was hurting all over. My chest was flaring up. The chest pain is probably the worst symptom that I have, because every time I breathe on a bad day, it hurts. Like, no matter what I take, no matter what I do for it, every breath is like breathing with an elephant sitting on your chest. It's pretty excruciating, because there are times where you can't catch your breath, where you feel like you need to take a deep breath, and then you go to take a deep breath and you just can't. And at first it was kind of scary, because you get the feeling that you're not really able to breathe, and that's pretty much where it comes in at. When I saw my primary doctor, he diagnosed me with it, and he recommended that I sign up for a cardiologist and a pulmonologist to be able to, it's a post-COVID clinic for people who deal with these symptoms, and it's supposed to help with, manage these symptoms and help you work through them. I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about it. I'm supposed to hear something back from him today, so we'll find out. I ran into a problem with, on paper, medically, there's nothing wrong. All the tests that was done, the heart muscle enzyme test was all good. I had multiple chest x-rays. I've had multiple ECGs, EKGs. So on paper, everything looks good, and there should be no medical reason why I should be having these symptoms. But given the fact of multiple people, or also a lot of people, are actually dealing with this, I'm not really sure what the percentage is, but I know it's pretty high. People that come down with COVID, I think there's a good percentage of people that end up with this and that are really, really fighting it. There's a Facebook group that I'm going to link in the description below that you guys can, if you guys are dealing with this, you guys can head over there. I've seen nothing but good things out of this Facebook group. It's with a bunch of other people who are also dealing with it. And I usually post in there every day to kind of, get a little of enlightenment. Because the one thing that people with this really look for is, when's it going to be over? Where's the light at the end of the tunnel? And in all honesty, there probably really is no light at the end of the tunnel. Things probably never will be back to normal. You've kind of got to be able to prepare yourself for that. And given the fact of everything that we've prepared for, and all the junction and hoops that we're having to jump through because of all of this, is completely unacceptable. The issues that seem to be the biggest problem is wanting to do something but not being able to do something. My doctor told me he started me on an anti-inflammatory, because I think just about a lot of the muscles around my chest and area, they were all inflamed, which makes it harder to breathe. So they put me on an anti-inflammatory to help with the inflammation, which throughout the day it helps, but eventually it wears off. And when it wears off, that's when we have the problems. I know there are other people that are dealing with more severe symptoms than what I have. They're considering my symptoms to be pretty moderate. It's not severe, but it's pretty moderate. And the way I look at it is, it's not minor, so moderate is kind of a step up from minor, but it's not as severe. But it's still pretty prevalent, and it's still there. So I wanted to sit down and talk about it. There's a lot of, I think the biggest thing with it is wanting to get back to doing, normal stuff, like going back to work and going on trips and, going out and making videos. But as it stands at this point, it's recommended that I don't do any of that, because moving around too much makes me short of breath, and on top of me being short of breath, it makes it harder to breathe. And I'd rather sit down and be able to breathe right than move around too much and have some problems. A lot of people on paper, and that's what causes a problem when it comes to people in the workplace not really understanding, because you get people that really don't care about your health. They just really care about having to pay you for sitting at home. So when you get people like that, they usually turn out to be brain dead. So there's really nothing much they can do about it. So everybody has a job to do. One of the biggest things is I'm always used to pushing myself above and beyond. It's something I was trained to do when I was in the Army, and it's something that I use pretty much every day. And now when I have this post-COVID crap, when I try to do that, my body, I suffer for it. Like, I was just dealing with work yesterday, fighting with them about this, doctor release and everything else like that. And then I wake up today and I feel like I've been hit by a Mack truck. Any levels of stress on my body just completely wipes me out from doing anything at all. So anyone that thinks that post-COVID isn't a thing, I can't really say anything, because anything nice. So if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to let you guys use your imagination based on how you know me. But that's going to do it. I figured I would cover it so people don't think that, having post-COVID, there is no such thing. It's a very real thing, and it very, very sucks. And to be honest, it's probably worse than the initial infection of the virus, because it lasts longer and it's way more intense. So that's going to do it for this one. This is just my experience and how I deal with everything. It's not medical opinion or anything. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.